Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm going through the bus. I'm getting it winterized, make sure it's getting done, because I'm going to be leaving, and I want to make sure that the bus is going to be all set up and ready for me when I come back. And the thing is, what I want to talk about is wait a minute. Let me shut it off. Be much more quieter around here. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see. What I want to talk about is the hats we wear. It is getting close to Christmas, and it's the time to be thankful. And well, let me tell you a story. This is what made me think about this whole thing in the first place. Last night, I went to a Mexican restaurant and was eating supper. And I was fixing to leave, and I got up and I was walking, and someone said, Santa Claus, and I'm thinking, what are y'all talking about? But I said, I've been wearing this hat all the time, and I just kind of forgot I'm wearing this hat. And so then I just smiled and nodded, and I started walking, and then the mother, it was a little girl that said that, and then the mother was sitting on the other side of the table, and she said, well, hello, Santa. And then that's what made me, then I remembered my hat. And this little girl, and then, I thought, hey, this for this little girl, the hat represented Santa Claus. And to her, I was Santa. And so I said, well, I'm Santa's helper. And then so I reached in my pocket, and then I asked the little girl if she liked pandas. And like I say, I carry these copper coins around all the time. So, and I've been giving a lot away now when it comes around this time of season, especially for Americans. Americans have a hard time accepting gifts for no reason. They have a hard time when people are nice to them. They just, they don't know what to think about it. So, and a lot of times they don't really want to take things. So, but this is the season, so now I've been getting out a lot. So anyway, I told the little girl, I said, do you like pandas? And she smiled and she said, yes. And I said, well, hold out your hand. And she held out her hand. And then when I dropped the coin in her hand, the coin took up for her little hand, it took up her whole hand, and it just, boom, it just came down, and her eyes opened up just as big as that coin. And I told her Merry Christmas, and hope everything is good for you. And then we left. But it dawned on me, for the hats that we wear. And when we put on a hat, that says who we are. And I didn't think this was going to be such a hard video. But so the hats we wear says who we are. We have to act a certain way when we put on a hat. And so now, see, now I don't wear, a lot of times you see people with Vietnam caps and Marine caps, stuff like that. I don't wear none of that stuff. I don't advertise anything. It's just part of my life that I've done, and I just don't advertise it. And I thought, But then again, okay, just today, let's see, it's 12 noon today. I think it's December 10th. And just today, I've been making videos. I'm a videographer. I've been down at the fire department playing fireman this morning. And like I say, I came back and then I started cutting meat. We're making beef jerky. And so I'm cutting the meat, so I'm playing chef. And so in other words, just this morning, I've already done things. And I'm starting to understand. One thing, I have people that get silly and they tease me about the hat that I normally wear. And that hat really doesn't really say anything. But the hat says a lot to the people that I'm doing whatever it is I have to do. I say, we wear these hats, whether it's you're being a parent, and it's much easier to be a friend than to be a parent. But we don't like to wear that parenting hat. We don't want to take that much responsibility. We'd much rather be friends with our children. And I think that's one of the problems we've been having. Like say, the policemen will put on the policeman hat, the military people put on their military hats, and they're expected to act a certain way when they do that. And a lot of times people have a hard time understanding when they put that hat on, their personal feelings, their personal thoughts are secondary compared to the hat that they are wearing. And this applies to everybody. So it's not just, firemen and this type of stuff. Like I say, we've got politicians that they take on an office, whether they're elected or appointed. They put on a hat. And that hat should be telling them that their personal interests are secondary compared to what that hat has to say. And this is the time of the year that we need to be thankful for all the people that wear all the different hats. It's easy for us to think about ourselves. And it's easy to think about the stuff that we have benefited personally. But the bigger picture is the people that wear the hats. They wear those hats for us. Whether they're first responders, whether they're the cooks, the waitresses, all these people, when they put on a hat, they do it for us. We need to be thankful. There are people out there that will take on the responsibility of putting on the hat. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com. Merry Christmas.